Hi, I am Robin Dunham. I will be giving you a block of instruction about the biathlon. It will be geared toward the winter biathlon marksmanship block, focusing on trigger squeeze and the prone position. The trigger squeeze will not change regardless which two positions you are using. There are two types of biathlons: winter, which combines cross-country skiing and the firing of the rifle, and summer, which combines cross-country running and firing of the rifle. The biathlon was first designed in Norway as an alternative training style in the Norwegian military soldier in 1861. In 1942, the biathlon was first entered into the Winter Olympic Games with no success. In the 1950s, the Soviet and the Swedish had a biathlon in their winter sports circuit. It was a success. The first World Championship was held in Austria in 1958. The all-male biathlon was finally allowed in the Winter Olympic Games in 1960. In 1992, the all-female biathlon was allowed in the Winter Games. The top male player in the world currently is Martin Fourcade of France. Tom Burke in the United States is currently in 10th place. The top female in the world is currently Tora Berger of Norway. Susan Dunley is currently 42nd of the United States. There are three major events in the biathlon. The largest event is the Winter Olympics, then the World Championship, and then the World Cup. The biathlon uses two firing positions, the prone and standing. The fire has the same distance in both positions. They used to fire at the 100, 150, 200, and 250 meter targets. In 1966, they reduced those to 50 meters. And in 1980, during the Winter Olympics at Lake Placid, they changed over to mechanized targets. As for the rifles, in 1958 to 1965, they used the 30-06 Springfield. And in 1978, they switched over to the 22 long rifle. There are numerous biathlons for the men and women. There is the sprint, that is a 6.2-mile course, and they fire two sets of targets. The penalty for skiing is a 150-foot penalty lap for every target that they miss. The pursuit is a 7.8-mile course, and they fire 4 times, and the start of the intervals determined on the finishing point of their previous sprint race. The penalty is also a 150-foot penalty loop for each target missed. The 12.5-mile course has 4 firing spots. They also have a relay race with 4 legs, and it's 4.7 miles with 2 firing stops. Women have the opportunity to compete in the following events as well: a 4.7 sprint, 6.2 pursuit, and a 9.3-mile race. When the fires miss a target, they are penalized, which can result from either skiing additional laps or adding additional minutes to their time. I will be demonstrating the prone position with a proper trigger squeeze. There are numerous critical features dealing with firing the rifle. I will focus on trigger squeeze and breathing. Regardless which position you are firing, trigger squeeze and breathing are both vital features that needs to be mastered to enable you to fire expert. The prone position is a position that we'll be working with in the marksmanship, breathing, and trigger squeeze. Make sure your rifle is unloaded, the safety is on, along with any other safety devices that you have for your rifle. My demonstrator will be using the Daisy Air Rifle pump to demonstrate breathing and trigger squeeze. We have a clear bolt indicator, a CBI cord, that runs through the barrel, indicating there are no rounds lodged in it. These instructions are for a right-handed firer. The prone position is when you're lying on your stomach with a rifle pointed at the target. Your left leg is extended, your right leg is bent. You will need to rotate your hips to the left. This will allow you to get up off your diaphragm, making it easier to breathe with less movement. Your left arm will be bent out front, allowing you to hold on to the upper stock. Your right hand will be used to squeeze the trigger. When firing the rifle, you must focus on trigger squeeze and breathing. If the trigger is not properly squeezed, it will result in missing the ultimate goal, a bullseye. Proper placement of the trigger finger is important. Place your index finger on the trigger. The part of your trigger finger that can go on the trigger is from the tip of the finger to the first joint. Do not put your whole finger into the trigger mechanism. You must make sure that your trigger finger squeezes the trigger. Put pressure on the trigger gently, paying close attention to how much pressure you have to apply before the trigger is engaged. Do this a few times so you will know how much pressure it takes to engage the trigger. Once you're comfortable with knowing how much pressure it takes to pull the trigger, you will need to control your breathing. Squeezing the trigger is a deliberate, relaxed movement that results in an accurate shot. Breathing control is the ability to breathe calmly and to be able to identify the moment to squeeze the trigger. For the best chance of hitting a bullseye, it is recommended to fire at the natural pause at the end of your exhale, meaning the best time to fire the rifle is between heartbeats. This is when your body has the least amount of movement. You inhale, then exhale. The time between the exhale and the next inhale is your calm spot. Do this a few times to get familiar with being able to identify the calm spot. Once you have it down, put it together. Simultaneously, during the calm spot is when you gradually increase the pressure of the trigger and the shot is fired. The key is simultaneously. Now we will see how well you've mastered this. We will place a penny on the barrel. The penny should stay on. Good. Now we will try a quarter. The larger the coin, the harder it is for the coin to stay on the barrel. Okay. Let's try the dollar or the half dollar. This is normally the hardest one. If you have a dollar coin, that is normally the hardest. Excellent. That concludes my block of instruction. Thank you and have a nice day.